Oh, whoa, what is it? You ought to know what it is, man. This is your man, Levon. Welcome back to my channel, Levon Says, where on this channel, we encourage to love you, uplift you, motivate you, inspire, learn, laugh, encourage, and enlighten with you dig? And on this morning, I want to talk about considering, you dig? I mean, it is Wisdom on Wednesday, right? And it is hump day. Yeah, we halfway through the week, man. The rest of the week is all downhill. And since we're talking about wisdom on this Wednesday, I would like for you guys to consider, right? Think about, ponder, study, contemplate. You know what I'm saying? Imagine, dissect, consider, right? And what is it I want us to consider? I want us to consider the work. I said again, consider the work, right? What does that mean? Well, a lot of people consider the work that they do on a daily basis, right? They consider, depending on what field you're in, and consider the work, right? Consider what you put in, what it requires, from expertise, maybe degrees, maybe it's very technical, maybe it's very skilled, it's very dangerous, maybe it's very time consuming, you know what I'm saying? Maybe it's you have to have a real sincere love and passion and drive, in order to be able to meet the demands of what it takes. Consider the work, right? And we all want our work to be considered. Whatever it is you do, we want our work to be considered. We want someone to think about what we did and the time we put in and the creativity it took and the motive and the meaning behind the work, right? So consider the work. Now, upon considering the work, thinking about the work, right? There's a couple things I want you to consider. I want you to consider not just your work, but the work that you are doing, right? The work that you're doing. I'm not talking about your job. I'm not talking about what you do for a living. I'm talking about the work that you are doing. The work that you are putting your hands to do, right? I'm talking about the work that's going to help change someone's life. It's going to help open their eyes to a truth. It's going to cause their perspective to be enlightened, right? What work are you doing, right? Another thing I want you to consider is consider the work of you being that work, right? Consider yourself, consider your body, your mind, your characteristics, your attributes, your perspective, your belief systems, from where you were to where you are now. Consider the work, right? Take in consideration the work. Because then once you've considered the work yourself, consider the work that you're putting out there, that you're putting your hands to do, that's going to change the world, going to change someone spiritually, mentally, emotionally, when you consider the work, what are you doing to make sure that the work is being done the way God wants it to be done and not how we want it to be done? Because see, when we consider the work from a fleshly perspective, we're looking at point A to point B. We're trying to get there. You know what I'm saying? That's how we roll. We want to go from point A to point B. We don't want to necessarily take a long time. We don't want to necessarily go the scenic route. We don't necessarily, want to go up the ebbs and flows, the ups and downs, the trials and the triumphs. We just want to go straight. We want to get there, no problems, no issues. Everything's gravy. Everything's cool. Just point A to point B. right? But a lot of times we don't consider the work, right? When you put work into something that takes a lot of effort, a lot of time, and a lot of heart desire, and so it can be something beautiful that people can appreciate. And then when people come along and they see your work and they don't value its worth, they don't value what it took for you to put in, they don't value the time you put in, they don't value the creativity, they don't value the beautiful byproduct from the work. They devalue your work. They make your work not as valuable as it really is, right? That's their perspective. But you know your work is far more valuable than they could even really imagine. They just have not gained the right perspective to really see the work, right? So today I want to talk to you about Ecclesiastes 7:13. You dig? Ecclesiastes 7:13 says, "Consider the work of God, for who can make that straight which he hath made crooked?" Okay? Consider the work of God. Who? Who can? Who can make that? That is me and you. Who can make that straight which he's made crooked? Okay? Who can take us off of the journey and the path that God has set for us? The ebbs and flows, the ups and downs, the ins and outs. Who can make from point A to point B straight? Who can change what God has predestined from the foundations of the earth? Who can change that? When God has set our lives a certain way, he's predestined it. So the question is, have you considered the work? Have you considered the work? We are the work. And who can change what God has predestined from the foundations of the world? Who can make straight what he has made crooked? What he has chose to go in and out and in the ebbs and flow and the ups and downs in life, who can change that? That's the question this morning. I know we think we can do almost anything. We can change almost any outcome or situation. But, when you really sit back and you consider, right? I give you an example. If you have children, and I have children, right? Think about when your children, from when they were small and they were developing and they were growing into whoever God was going to make them, right? Okay. And then you see them growing up. You see their character. You see, what makes them uniquely them, right? But you see all of it. You see the good, the bad, the not so good, the maybe, And so as you watch this child grow, you may try to direct them in certain ways and guide them in certain ways. But if something is in them, it's in them. God has put it in them, and that's the way that they're leading. And then what do? We try to steer them over here or steer them this way because this is what we want for them. And then what happens? Lo and behold, as they grow up, they get bigger, they teenagers, and then they become adults. They're going to seek the path that God has created for them. No matter how we try to direct them or how we try to guide them, because who can change the direction of your life and my life when God has created it the way he has? Who can come and undo what God has done? Think about it. The creator of this entire existence, not just the earth, the universe, the galaxies, everything. And he chose to make us the center of everything. And out of all the creations throughout the universe that we don't even know about, he chose to make us not divine like the angels, but a little lower than the angels. Make us out of dirt and then blow the breath of life into us so that we have divinity in us. And that makes us divine. Predestined us from the foundation of the world of our journey, of our ebbs and flows, of our ins and outs, so that we can mature and we can grow and we can gain wisdom and gain experience and gain knowledge of who he is and what he created and what he wants us to do and how beautiful it is. Have you considered the work? Have you considered his creation? Have you considered you and me? Have you considered your children and how they were created and how God has predestined their life? And now that they're grown and that you look at them and you look back and you see where they are compared to where they were, and no matter what you might have tried to do and try to guide and try to steer and talk, that they are where they are because it was predestined. Have you considered the work? Consider the work of your hands. I'm considering the work of my hands, right? Is the work that my hands is being put forth to do, is it good? Is it worthy? Is God pleased with it? Is it something he can put his stamp of approval on? Is it something that he can be proud to show off to heaven, to the host of heaven? Is it something that he may want to use and as a story to tell one day to someone else because of the work that you've done or because of the work that your hands have done, and the work that your hands have done have been approved by him and have been everything that work that your hands was doing was pointing back to him, right? Can he be pleased with the work? When he considers the work, which you are that. When he considers the work, when he sits back and looks at his work, right? You want him to be pleased with that because we are that, right? You want him to be pleased with that. You want him to be pleased with us coming to understanding that there's going to be ebbs and flows and that it's not just a straight from point A to point B. That's us. But God says, who can make straight the things that I have crooked? Right? So let us consider the work. Us. Let us consider the work that we put our hands to do. Let us consider his work. Amen? And understand that he has a purpose for us. And the purpose for us is to consider, to think about, to contemplate, to dwell on, to be at awe and amazed and in wonder, bewilderment about his incredible divine work, right? It's not always a straight shot. He wants us to go through the ebbs and flows of life so we can learn and mature. So ask yourself, who can make straight what God has made crooked? One love. Be blessed on today. Remember Lamella E. Love, uplift, motivate, inspire, learn, laugh, encourage, and enlighten. You dig? Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. And also hit that bell notification so you're always notified whenever I upload, because I upload Monday through Friday. Get your daily motivational content. You dig? Make sure you share this on all your platforms. One love.